I don't want to start the podcast just yet. Because I'm trying to figure out something. How the fuck can I get you guys to hear my stuff? And I need to Google it. Share Chrome audio in Discord to ensure audio output device is correctly set up in both Discord and operating system. Check Discord audio settings. Read the voice and video devices. Oh. What up, Justin? How you doing? How you doing, Gandhi? Like, oh. Okay. So that makes sense. Okay. So that's a lot easier than I thought it would be. Okay. Okay. So give me like 2 minutes and I should. No, no. Gandhi, can you hear us? Oh, okay. Can you hear? Talking to audit. Uh, okay. You sound really robotic-y. Just to let you know. I believe last time it was like this, unplugging it and plugging it back in helped. But there was something to do with like your headset settings. Okay. Video, let's see. Test video. All right, soundboard. Voice. All right, so I'm gonna try something. If I can't get this to work, then I'm not gonna do this idea. But let me see. Yes, that's a lot better actually. That's a shit ton better. Okay. Here's huh. Well, I don't want that. Fuck me. Stop streaming. Change stream. Share stream as. Okay, hold on. Stop streaming. Change stream. Entire screen. Okay, so what if I just did the entire screen? There we go. Hey, so can you guys open up my streaming share screen? Can you guys see my streaming share screen? Oh shit. Okay. Can you guys hear? Can you guys hear this? Fuck, I'm not gonna be able to do this. Ah, fuck. God damn it. All right, hold on. How about this? Ooh, you know what? You know what? We're gonna do this old school. I'm gonna pull it up on my laptop and just put my mic next to my laptop. That solves it. That solves everything. Hey, I'm about it, and I have a pretty good quality mic, so why am I not recording this? Okay. So, everybody, welcome to the Timbo Show. We have Audit and Gandhi. Oh, what's up?
Okay. Sorry, I had to mute the stream channel because it was echoing awesome.
10-4.
For your channel and stream. I got you.
Yeah, I'm no longer gonna stream this, by the way, on Discord. Yeah, that's out. Okay. Wait, where the fuck did Audit go?
Yeah, Audit.
Damn nabbit. Well, there he is.
Okay. He was just waiting for a grand entrance. That was all.
Yes.
He just didn't want to think that he was waiting around. He would be like, "Oh, I just now found out that y'all are here. Thank God I showed up in time to make your stream interesting."
No, it was.
However you talk.
I was just looking at something.
Test.
And, yeah.
You can call it.
Well, I would say it wasn't that.
All right, so can you?
Wrong.
I have a question. Can you guys hear this? Can you guys hear that?
Something is supposed to be playing.
Could you guys hear that?
No.
Damn.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think it's gonna work. I think I need to. I'm gonna have to do. We were gonna do animal noises, and the rules were gonna be you have to guess if it's your turn. You had to guess what the animal was of the noise, and if you don't get it right, it goes to the other person. They get to guess. And if neither of you get it right, the person with the best impression of the noise gets the point. But we're not going to do that anymore. Well, kind of, yeah. But it's like taking turns, and so I would do an animal. I would play an animal noise. You, Gandhi, let's say it's your turn, but that's not what we're doing today, so that doesn't matter. We're gonna do.
Just so you know, when you first said that, you lagged, and I didn't hear animal. I did hear part of that word, and it sounded like something different.
Ass noises.
I'm like, I think we could all guess.
Anal noises.
By guessing.
So instead, we're gonna do pro versus con. So I mentioned this in episode 1 that my 3 favorite topics that I wanted to do before was animal noises, the worst superpowers to ever have, and pro versus con. And episode 1 we went with the worst superpowers, and today, because of technical difficulties, we're gonna go pro versus con. And basically, Gandhi, I feel like you're gonna like this one. This is debate club. You two.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, you two are going to be professional debaters. I'm going to be the intermediary. And one person has to take the position of pro, and one person has to take the position of con. And whoever convinces me of their position gets the point. Does that make sense?
Do you have a coin on you?
A coin?
Yeah.
No.
We flip for who's what.
I can get a coin. Hold on. Let me go get a coin.
Yeah,
right back.
That way we're not prepared and we don't get to debate over who gets to do what.
10-4. All right, be right back.
You know, if he's anything like the rest of us, all he has is like credit cards and debit cards, and it's good forever to file.
I was about to say, can't you just like just search it up on his computer?
I do have coins in my truck, That's only because of how much I travel. I travel through states that have road roads, and my Easy Pass or Sunshine Pass doesn't work.
Yeah, I also have coins on me as well, but I usually use them just for
I
rubbish.
have my coin. All
I
right.
used to keep at least some coins in my truck because anytime they would pass somewhere to have a well, it was just like my thing that I thought to toss a coin in the bush on it.
All right, let me pull up some eye candy for these fools that are watching right now. Let's see, what are they gonna watch? How about they watch me play Dragon Age? That works. It's long enough. All right, so pro versus con, and oops, hold on.
We're going
There.
to establish our ground rules. We're going to feel for who gets it. And I assume you're going to have us on some kind of stopwatch so that we can't just go
So before we start, is there any way that you can clear up your audio at all? Because it is kind of like muffly.
Mine is.
Yeah.
Let's- Windows Sonic on. Is that any better?
Yeah, that's a lot better. Whatever you're doing, don't change it.
It was just my volume was down. On my
Oh, okay. All right. So, everybody, welcome to the Timbo Show. This is a podcast where basically the host is a game show host, and it rotates between members of the community. If they lose, they have a chance of not being on the podcast next time, and if they win, they have to host. And the host has all power of the universe, meaning they could literally just not want to host and say, you know what, Gandhi, you're the host now, and boom, on the spot they have to come up with a game, or they can come up with an elaborate game and then decide a winner. So
it really sucks because I haven't won host and I haven't gotten picked by a host yet.
well, you might be host next time because Audit does not like being host.
I know. This is my game too, though. So
Yep.
whether win or lose, I might still win.
And the game that we're playing is pro versus con. It's basically two people debating. One has the position of pro, one has the position of con. I know Gandhi understands this situation, which I am so glad, by the way, because last time it was a train wreck. But Audit, do you understand the game?
I probably would once I get an example.
Okay. So, for example, if I said the topic is electric vehicles, and I would assign pro to Gandhi and then con to you. So Gandhi would be pro electric vehicles and trying to convince me of why electric vehicles are great and why they're just like the bee's knees. And then he would end his portion of the debate, and then it would go to you. And by the way, this is not a back and forth. You only get one chance. You only get one like segment. And so, and then it would go to you, and you would try to not convince me. You would try to convince me that EVs are just the worst thing in the world, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, the first topic is Hitler, and
Straight into it.
we're going to
Wait, we didn't establish before the pre-start. Do you have us on a timer? Like, you got 45 seconds.
I would say keep it around 2 minutes. I mean, there's not like a hardcore set time, but don't try to filibuster it, you know. So like 2-3 minutes. I mean, there's no minimum amount, so you could veto your time if you want. So it's up to you. Just be pro podcast. So
Hang on a second. Well, just because I've got a game that I'm playing too, so I'm going to stop watching for me. I can set
10-4 and
Are you playing a game too?
Daisy.
So I'm gonna say Gandhi, pick heads or tails.
Yeah, I'd rather get some head.
Okay, you got heads. So if you get heads, you get pro. If you get tails, you get con. You got heads. You're pro. So you are pro Hitler.
I'm pro Hitler.
and Audit, you are con Hitler. So I'm gonna now ask Audit, pick heads or tails.
Tails.
Tails. All right. Coin flipping. And it's heads. So that means Gandhi, you go first. If you need some time to prepare, remember that I use AI software to eliminate all silence, and you can take as long as you need.
All right, yeah. Give me 1 second. I have a particular. I need to get the title of it because that's what I'm doing. So,
Also know that I will be cutting out any muffly talking. Hold on 1 sec. Let me get my nicotine before you come back. If he starts, let him know that I'm gone. Please.
Yep.
Okay, I'm back. Hey, Gandhi.
yeah.
You know what? Can you join this Discord on your phone? Would that be easy for you?
Yeah. I mean, I have both of them. It's just a matter of switching my headset on.
I honestly think that would be better for sound quality.
All right, let me back on here and I'll worry about it.
Okie dokie. Because I do not want, because that I can't make an episode out of what's going on right now. Audit, have you ever heard the sound of a koala? Audit, are you muted?
Oh, I just realized I was muted.
Have you ever heard the sound of a koala?
I have.
Huh. Does it sounds
What?
like it sounds like someone choking a koala. Like with both hands around their neck.
Wait, what sounds like that?
A koala.
Oh, it sounds like someone's choking it.
Yeah. It's a koala
Yeah.
sounds like someone is choking a koala.
Yeah.
So when he comes back, I've been like, I need to like pull up my template, my notes for the Discord, because I keep on going like out of order. 1 second.
So with this topic, are we talking about are we talking about if Hitler was to come back, but like as a different person, like someone is acting as?
No, so anything that you want. Pro Hitler back in the day, like his effect on the world, his charisma, it doesn't matter. And this is Gandhi. Gandhi is pro Hitler. You're con Hitler, so you're against him. Yeah, and so basically, you're just arguing the point that Hitler is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was trying to
That's it.
get.
You could say, hey, we need, like, if you flip sides and try to get him the point, that's up to you. Remember, this is the Wild West. But there's a lot less rules than you're thinking.
Okay, so it's just like straightforward. Like you can talk about anything.
Here's the
as long as it's
rules.
relating.
Make content.
Okay.
So intro and then small talk. Game. What the fuck? Hold on, Gandhi's calling me. Hello.
Yo,
Yo.
is that any better?
Yeah, this is better. Do you need me to send you the invite to the podcast VC again?
Yeah, I thought that's what I was. I just joined your voice chat actually, so yeah, I guess.
You called me.
Oh shit!
All right, I sent it to you. I'm gonna hang up. he called me and he thought he joined the voice chat. Swear to God.
Oh.
I freaking swear. That's funny. But honestly, the phone quality is much better than you would think. Discord is.
Somehow I still think you're talking about me.
Yeah, I am talking about you. Discord is like supreme when it comes to sound quality optimization. It's better than Skype. It's better than Google Meets. It's better than anything. They have a very sophisticated like sound control for like talking. Like they have a built-in what the fuck is it called? They have built-in gain. They have built-in noise gate. There it is. They have a built-in compressor. They have an AI compressor and an AI noise gate. Like, it's fucking awesome. It really is.
I mean, it makes sense.
There's a
since,
reason
like,
so many
Discord
people that
is-
stream on Twitch use Discord as their voice channel.
Yeah, a lot of streamers do. What were you saying on it?
I was just gonna bring that up. Like, there's a reason why Discord is mainly like a gaming VC.
Yeah, believe it or not, my solar group, they use Discord as their main like hub of everything. Like all of us, like we clock in on Discord by taking a picture of ourselves and saying OTD on the doors. And like our whole like communication hub is in the Satori Discord. It's kind of cool. Because I know how to use Discord and they don't, and they're just like, I don't understand why this roll isn't rolling. I'm like, well, so
This roll isn't rolling.
yeah.
I mean, probably because it's not round.
By the way, I realized, Gandhi, that I went kind of out of order, and so I'm gonna be rearranging the sections of how we talk to make it make sense for the order. But usually after the intro, we do small talk. And so I realized that you don't know Audit very well, and Audit, you don't know Gandhi very well. So Audit,
And I have no idea what your structure is. So
well, for actually, this is very important for if you do win today. First, I'll send it to you. There's a little template. You intro, basically saying, hey, this is the Timbo Show, and here's the guest host. This is what the Timbo Show is. And then you explain.
is this posted on your Discord page?
It actually is.
Okay.
And then
This must have been when I first signed in and got accepted, and I just haven't been back to it since.
No, I've recently put that up there. Like I've been working on this. Yeah, this is new. You didn't miss anything. So basically you intro the podcast itself, and then you explain the template itself. And then you're like, hey, this is the Timbo Show, blah, blah. First, we start with the intro, then we go with small talk, and then we jump into the game. And then whoever wins the game is the host of the next episode. And then you're like, all right, so guys, are you guys ready for small talk? Blah, blah, blah. And then we start small talk, which is what we're doing right now. Really small talk
you
is
can
just
still
about
super edit between what we did start with, and if you want to do a time for me and Audit kind of get to know each other, that could be part of the small talk, because this would be our first big match against each other.
Yeah, this is the small talk, and the small talk could be about ourselves. It could also be about current events. And I would actually like to kick off the small talk. Did you guys hear about Boulder AI?
No, I don't know what that is.
It was so Boulder AI got sued for every testicle that they're worth, dude, because they were presenting themselves as an AI company, and they got invested by Microsoft, by Apple, by Tesla. They were invested with $1.5 billion with various like big businesses. And then they did an audit like 8 years later. This was going on for 8 years, and it was basically 700 software engineers in a trench coat. there was zero AI.
So this is like Sam Bankman-Fried and Elizabeth Holmes kind of like Madoff kind of fucking scams.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't get those references, but that's
Sam
also not.
Bankman-Fried was the crypto guy. Elizabeth Holmes was that girl in the black turtleneck that said that she could test blood super fast.
Oh, okay. But yeah,
Like
basically,
that's just like our generation. Before us was the Ponzi schemes of like the late 80s and early 90s, but those were just our people.
so basically they made like a HUD, a UI that looked like an AI. It was like a chat sequence, right? And people would like type into the AI. And this is in India, by the way. People would type in. No, wasn't it? It was a bunch of Indian national people,
Oh,
but it was here
please
somewhere.
don't tell me this is literally just AIM, but they were answering the text
No,
instead of actually letting AI do it.
that's exactly
Oh
what
my
it
God.
was. That's exactly what it was. 'Cause
So it's worse than like the AOL Messenger or the or MSN mail that we used to have back in the day in like the
yeah,
90s that had the chatbot. This is
yeah.
worse than that.
It started off as engineer.ai, but then they started to get scared because people were snooping around, so they sold it to another
Yeah, maybe
LLC.
engineer's too strong of a word.
Right, right. So they created boulder.ai and they transferred the assets and everything over to that. But it was 700 engineers just doing software coding and like answering and doing conversations with people. And they were using ChatGPT. They were copying and pasting the prompts into
Oh, so,
ChatGPT and then copying and pasting the answers back into there and doing.
so they weren't even like faking the conversations. They were faking having conversations while faking that those conversations were with an actual AI.
Dude, they were doing both. It's insane.
Man, that's God, that's like when I pretend to throw the ball for my dog, but then I do it again and it still believes me.
It's weird, dude. The amount of prowess scammers are getting lately is scary because like that
Well,
is something that I was like I thought of before. I was like, well, what if this AI bullshit is just people on the other end answering, and I'm and it's like, you know, it's not actually like an AI thing. Because that's what I thought about at first whenever ChatGPT first came out. I was like, I asked it a question. I was like, "Are you really an AI?" And it was like, "Prove it." And it
like
couldn't.
how would you take over humanity? Because depending on your answers, whether I believe you or not.
Exactly. But yeah, that's my small talk. Do you guys have anything you want to talk about?
uh, let's see. No, that's too dark. I don't want to do that one.
Mm-mm. I want that one.
So, well, I see it's too dark. The subject matter is dark, but the
Like,
reason
hold
that I
on. Is
wanted to
it
bring it
dark?
up,
Is it dark like sad, or is it dark like dark?
I guess it depends on if you live there,
Okay.
because yes
Okay.
and yes, both where the sun was at in the sky at the time and what was happening.
Ooh, I also want to know your opinion on the LA riots, but continue.
This is about Israel has bombed Tehran in Iran, and then Iran responded by bombing Tel Aviv.
Oh, I heard about that.
But the only things that I have seen, the only videos I have, which are like live videos all at night, which to answer your question, yes, it was dark. And all of these missiles and shit going off. But I remember watching the Tel Aviv ones. I was like, what happened to this Iron Dome that y'all spent all this money on that's supposed to like just intersect incoming missiles? Because like 8 of those motherfuckers hit the ground in the middle of the city, and one of you fire it off. I know, like I do when I'm drunk, doing it myself at home in the dark and fall off the bed.
Yeah.
It was weird to me to know that all of this bragging, all of this effort, and this is worse than the fireworks show at Stone Mountain, Georgia, during
Yeah.
4th of July.
There's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now in the world.
And
Hey.
also because I lived in Tallahassee for so long, if I heard explosions and shots like that, I'd probably like, I don't know, fireworks or bombs. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, Tallahassee's rough. Tallahassee doesn't seem rough because of FSU, but then it is once you live there.
Well, remember, even when we were staying at FSU, they still had a school shooting in the school library.
Yeah, that's true.
And we were lucky our university only had one that year,
Mm.
because all the rest of them happened off campus. And that line, that distinction is important, because one is a Tallahassee problem, the other is a Florida State problem. Unless you go to Florida State and you live outside the campus in Tallahassee, then it's just life.
Yeah, FSU owns that
It's
city.
like if the Lion King was Hood, and he's like, "Yo, Simba, let me tell you what's up. And then he went through the whole circle of life, but it was like just filled full of, well, this is why your other uncle died.
Hmm. By the way, Audit, I have a question.
Hmm.
What does your country propose bills by
What the fuck is that?
literally? This is, by the way, I'm asking about New Zealand. If for people that don't know and never met us before or listened to this before, does New Zealand propose bills by everybody writing bills down and then putting it into the biscuit tin, which is a literal cookie tin? They shake it around and then somebody opens it and picks one out and they're like, hey, let's do this one.
It's odd. That's an oddly specific subreddit.
I honestly don't know.
I can tell you it is true, and that is how New Zealand picks their bills that they want to bring to the floor.
I had
to
a
the
look.
table.
I had a look. I had a look at your DMs, and I saw that you sent the picture and everything. And I was like, honestly, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So apparently, New Zealand, they literally they put a bunch of bills. It's the local bills. I believe it's like the territorial bills, not like the national ones, but the ones that are like Providence wise. They put those bills, and it's in sake of fairness, they randomly select ones to talk about rather than pushing up agended ones.
Is this everywhere, or is this just kind of focused either on one or a few different places that keep this tradition going?
No, it's everywhere in New Zealand. Like all of the
I mean,
non-national
not that
ones that are
everywhere
at
in
a
New
lower
Zealand's a
level.
whole lot of place, but
That's true.
see, if this would have been your opening question, my second question would have been to Audit and be like, have you ever done this? And now that you know it's a thing, will you start doing this in every social function that you have?
Audit, do you have anything you would like to
Like
talk
when
about?
you and your girlfriend start arguing about like what are we going to eat for dinner? You just put it in a cookie tin and shake it up because that's fair and democratic.
My girlfriend literally was like, hey, do you want to go out to eat? And I was like, not really. And she was like, oh. I was like, all right, cool. Well, where would you like to eat? She's like, well, where do you want to eat? I'm like, no. And she literally pulled out ChatGPT and was like, hey, where would you like to eat?
She wanted to have food. She just didn't want to do anything to get it.
All right, would you like to have any small talk topics?
I had a dream. I was sleeping, and then I woke up, and then I looked at the
How most
wall.
dreams start.
I looked at the wall, and it was going in a spiral, and then I woke up again, and then I looked at the wall, and it looked like it was going to a spiral, so I went to go pick up my laptop, and everything felt real. And then I woke up.
Usually
I was caught on
questions
the loop.
begin with words like how or why, and then with the voice going up like this.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're going to start the game. I decree that we all suck at small talk.
What you meant to ask is, hey, has anybody ever done shrooms? Nevis, come on.
Okay.
This is how I make small talk, is I just talk about my dreams.
Well, you know what?
You know, that's actually a fucking wonder. Like, if I ever meet you in person, that's how I want the beginning of our entire night together.
By the way, how old do you think Audit is, Gandhi?
I'd say early to mid 30s.
There you go. He is not. All right, so Hitler.
He's not. So Hitler.
All right, so Gandhi, we're gonna start the
I
game.
already got one thing wrong, so the odds are ever in my favor.
Nah, I believe he's 20. Are you 20?
I'm 21.
21 now. Oh, nice. Legal.
Congrats, you made it this far. It doesn't get better.
I'm already starting to notice that. Fuck.
All right, so let's start with the game. You guys have had plenty of time. If you're not prepared, we can take more time. But Gandhi, you are pro Hitler. Audit, you are con Hitler. And Gandhi, from the coin flip, you have to go first. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
And I actually have a timer here. So you have a 2 or 3. You have a 3-minute time limit.
3? All right. Oh, fuck.
And go.
I just set my phone. All right. So Hitler obviously responsible for the worst atrocities on a global scale that we have any record of, at least records of. And at the same time, we also have a population that is larger than any other religion currently struggling with themselves. And I'd like to argue that Hitler is a good reason for God.
Okay.
I'd like to say that, first of all, everything that Hitler did is the definition of what sends you to hell. Everything that his populist ideas stood for are what we consider the worst and the drugs of society. The things that you people think but they don't say out loud because consequences. Yet we watched the Catholic Church for hundreds and thousands of years been running the same strategy, but they're saying the out loud thing in front of everybody and getting condemned for it. They're trying to keep the things that they should go ahead, admit, and get rid of under the rug. They're doing the opposite of what Hitler's plans was. And if you really, really want to get down to efficiency, and I'm talking just from logistical purposes, Hitler killed 6 million people. God flooded a planet. And that only took him, what, 42 days? Logistically speaking, you're worshiping the wrong person. If you were into any neo-Nazism, if you were into anything that that guy stood for, you really should turn to Christianity. It's got all the perks, all the cover-ups, and the best reason you could possibly commit genocide. Because God, third of the world believes in you.
So, in conclusion, in one sentence, why would you say that Hitler is a good thing?
Hitler gives you a reason to turn to God.
Okay. All right. Is that the end of your point?
Though, if you only read the title of that blurb, it would sound a lot better than the video you were about to watch, which is pretty much anything to do with God or Hitler. So I guess at least I stayed on topic.
Well, you know what? Let's add one thing. Whenever you're done, say, and I concede the rest of my time, or like I'm done. I'm kind of like,
And I can see, well, be quiet for a second. So you can edit this in later. And so I concede the rest of my time.
okay. All right. Fair points. Fair points. I'm not sure about a lot of it, but
I mean, all we
fair
have to do is
points.
like, well, it's Hitler and he wins. So
all right. So, Audit, are you ready?
you kind of picked a loser at the beginning.
Yes.
But I would like to see if Audit argues any of my points.
Audit. Con Hitler. Go.
I would like to say, even though Gandhi has said that he can make you turn to God, he also caused World War II, which devastated a lot of countries, putting a lot of people at risk, and it has been more than 60 million, I would say, because that's involving the troops as well. So he has killed a lot of people in his time, and he had left by his own will not to face justice, and yeah, Hitler bad. That's it.
Okay.
Well,
So
I changed my
basically,
vote.
he killed a lot of people and he took the coward's way out and didn't face any consequences.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have to go with Audit on this one. He was more compelling.
You picked the easiest thing for somebody to win.
Hey, you could have
That's what I
gone.
said. Can I choose my vote?
Anyway.
Like,
You could have gone.
I would have liked to. Okay, pick any. I will give you until the next competition to figure out a way that this could have been compelling.
How about this? I'll give a pro Hitler
All I
speech.
can do is go down with a fight.
How about this? I'll give a pro
Unlike
Hitler
Hitler,
speech.
who just killed himself instead.
I'll give a pro Hitler speech, and if I'm more
Please
convincing,
don't. I want to be on this channel again.
if-
I already might not be allowed, but at least I can still listen to it unless you get canceled too.
well, how about this? I will also give you a point if you think, and you have to be honest, if you think that I'm more compelling than what Otta said.
In what way?
Well, I'm gonna take your spot for
You
a
didn't
moment.
make an argument.
Well, I'm going to, and
Okay.
yeah. And so, like, you let me know if I'm more compelling than Audit. And I'm here we go. So Hitler, everyone always talks about the torture and the concentration camps and the murder and the negative impact he had on people's lives. But back then, our agricultural system was not entirely pristine, and people were talking about overpopulation back then. Now we're at what, 9 billion people. If we're talking just at a non-emotional logistical standpoint of population, you could say that, and this is not me saying pro-death, this is not me saying pro-killing, and this is not me saying pro-evil. I am saying from a starvation standpoint of the world, a culling happened, whether it was for, well, it was for evil reasons, yes, and the man himself does not deserve praise. But one thing is true. The population went down by a certain fraction and the food did not go down. And so you could say that because of Hitler, because of one man, more food was on people's tables. That's the end of my point.
Now my vote's still without it.
Okay.
Two points. Why? One, you didn't consider how many people died in the Soviet Union, which is way more than Germany just in their Russian offensive. And Ukraine is the breadbasket of the world, sort of like the Midwest is the breadbasket for America, which means no food was getting produced at that time. And again, my argument, God killed more people in 42 days with a flood that flooded the planet.
Well, I tried.
So more people died.
Next
So
topic.
either I'm better at arguing for Hitler than you, or Audit wins. And I think for the sake of both of our eternal souls, whether you believe in Hitler or not, is that we both agree with Audit.
10-4. Next topic.
And never do that to somebody again unless they're a newbie. If they're a newbie on the channel, absolutely make them suffer. Make them start from a one-loss victory. Make them be Georgia Tech in the SEC.
All right, I'll do more of a neutral.
Just start off with a loss.
I'll do more of a neutral, less obvious topic. How about that? Next topic is blow-up dolls. The sex kind.
I'm already ready.
So we're gonna switch.
Well, fuck, I'm half ready.
We're gonna switch pro and con. Gandhi, you're gonna be pro this time. Audit, you're gonna be con, and it can be.
No, I'm just pro.
Yeah,
Well,
Gandhi was pro.
then whatever you were,
I was
do
just
the
pro.
whatever you were, do the opposite. And so
Okay, I'm con then.
you're con, and
You know
then
what? I
Audit's
got
pro.
one for this too.
Okay.
I got one for this too.
No. You're pro this time, right? No, you're con this time. Whatever you
I'm
are.
con, but I was thinking, I think that we can rotate. Actually, no, I say there's a coin flip every time. Coin flip for whether you're pro or con, and coin flip for whether you go first or second. Leave it all up to chance.
Nah, I'm gonna have you guys rotate pro and con just so you guys can take turns being at each position. Because
Well, that's fair because I know the kind of shit you're gonna bring up for our topic. So.
Yeah, I know. I want to keep it fair.
All right. Well, let's keep a coin flip on who goes first or second then.
No, I'm.
That way it's not guaranteed that the second. If I lose the first fight, that means I get the second word.
I will enforce my
because
host
I can play
powers.
off of what he says in my second time.
I am going to.
And he can be on of what I say if he's second.
I am going to enforce my host powers and say no. We're just going to rotate because coin flips are going to be for tiebreakers, and I want to kind of keep coin flips to a minimum. So this time,
All right,
Audit's going to go first. Audit, you're con, correct?
Pro. He's pro.
You're pro. Gotcha.
Yeah, he's pro and he's going
You're
first.
gonna have to give me time because I need to turn on generator.
10-4. Oh, one cool thing about Audit's. Audit, do you mind if I share this?
Share what?
Your generator, like living style.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
he's
fine.
off grid?
All right, cool. Yeah, he's off grid. He like is entirely off grid,
Well, we're doing the same thing here.
and he streams, and he plays video games constantly, and he plants trees for a living. He is the most economically small footprint person I've met in my entire life.
Audit, this is something that you would appreciate. So, in the past 2 months, we've managed to build a set of cisterns in our house too. We're down to using at most 18 gallons a day.
Audit, if we're sucking up to
At
you, I sell
most.
solar panels.
That's not every day. That's the highest days that we have, and that's the days that we like wash clothes and stuff.
I actually don't think he's listening anymore. I think he's off. Switching over his generator.
Probably. I don't have a generator running because I mean that's still burning diesel. But what we have done is that I've got at least 2 of my raised beds done. I'm working on the third one that I want to build an elaborate design for. I got my chicken house built and my run fences, everything put in. I'm debating on whether I want to buy goats to put into the second run.
If the apocalypse happened, would we be able to tap into gas stations? I know
yes and no.
I know they have a tank and all that, but like, could we like? Do you think that there would, if there's no power, how would we get the gas out of the underground tank?
Again, yes and no. The trucks that run them also have siphon on them.
Oh,
Like it's easier on the truck.
So we'd have to get one of those
pumps it out.
trucks.
You would need the truck. You would need to know how to run that truck. You would need to have enough air in the compressors to be able to create the suction for that truck that it starts the. I mean, you know how to siphon gas, like suck it on a garden hose.
You just gave me the idea for my next podcast episode. As a host, I know exactly what I'm gonna do, and just to give you an unfair advantage, it's going to be giving your own like post-apocalyptic scenarios, to where how like you'd survive and all that.
What would be your best advice for the apocalypse?
Exactly.
What's one skill set that you could argue? Like you only get to go with one. So like everybody on the podcast only gets to pick one skill set.
Yeah,
but you get to put what you think would be the most useful.
So I'm gonna.
Like if nobody else knew it, but you did. What's something that you know a lot about that not only can you say this would help us survive the apocalypse, but then you can go into detail of how it helps.
Well,
that way it's both an educational podcast and it's a way for us to compete.
So I'm going to make the game to where you're basically giving me your game plan for like post-apocalyptic scenarios, like, and it's going to be different post-apocalyptic scenarios. Like one is going to be like, hey, it just started, they're fast moving zombies, you may have like one gun in the house but you don't have an apocalypse worth of ammo. Like what's your first move? And then like later on, like what are you trying to build? Are you just trying to survive and be a loner and try to survive like through like, you know, being alone, or are you trying to, you know, build a community, like that kind of shit? I'd be interested to hear what Ada has to say about that.
There's a couple games that I've done playtesting for where on our Discords, this kind of conversation just kind of ends up happening. Not necessarily within the lines of the game, but just, you know, nerds fantasizing about the apocalypse.
I would go to
instead of giving strict rules to the apocalypse, just change what caused the apocalypse. One is a bacterial outbreak, like a virus, like it's COVID-19.
Yeah.
Another one is a zombie outbreak. Another one is a vampire outbreak. Another one is the sun scorches the ozone off, and so we can only operate at night.
I love that you have a lot of ideas of how the game should go, but I would also love you to host one time and do it however you want.
Well, if you implement the apocalypse style, then I'll do it that way on my first try if I ever get one of those rounds. And then you can just move on from there instead of it sounding like you're just picking all these rules by yourself. That way it seems like the community is affecting it more.
Well, no, that's the point of the host.
Even though it's me and you talking to everybody else, that's the way it's going to work.
No, that's the point of the host. This is a dictatorship. the host is all powerful.
Again, this way it doesn't look like you are actually the like Wizard of Oz behind the screen dictator because it's your show.
No. I'd rather.
It makes it look like all us get to be the dictator whenever we win.
Well, whenever you win, I would definitely want you to be the dictator because I have zero power. This is not my podcast. This is our podcast, and whoever is the host, it is their podcast for that episode. So you literally can do whatever the fuck you want. You could talk about kittens
I
for the
do.
entire episode and ignore
I've
all the
thought about
rules.
this since the last time that we played. I had thought about this. You had mentioned about how unsure and slow. Well, I say unsure, but how just particular you would be about inviting other people that play with us or you online into the podcast. Like, obviously, there's certain
Be careful saying that because we are streaming live right now.
mentalities, but there's just certain personalities and trolls and things you don't really want, because that's not what we're going for here.
Right.
You,
So-
you wouldn't want like a 10-year-old kid, or I don't know, like a
Correct.
racist on here.
Right. Yes. And so I'm carefully selecting people that I respect, and also carefully picking people that I think would be good for the podcast, and I'm trusting them with the power. And so, and I also can edit out anything, and so I'm kind of like chill about the whole thing, because like I'm going to ultimately choose what goes into the episode from what we create as a group. So if something bad happens, I'm just going to.
Which really does make you the dictator of the podcast in the end, but
I mean, I'm the
I
editor.
digress. If you don't like it, it's just me.
I mean, you guys, whenever you're the host, I want you to run.
We create all the material. You just edit it.
Yeah, I just edit it.
All right.
Hey.
So therein lies my idea that if you, because I don't imagine they're going to be bringing on more than like one person at a time that might be playing online and then get invited to the podcast. It's not going to happen that fast.
Right, this is gonna be a ground
So
thing.
for whoever the new person is, they're not allowed to participate in the competition, but they are allowed to be the decision maker on who gets to win each round, which can be usurped by you.
No, it cannot be
If
usurped
you
by me.
don't think it's, if it's something that you think is going to turn into the wrong direction of conversation, or it's
Then I'll
going
just
to turn into long of a
trash the
conversation,
episode.
something like that.
So I'm firmly putting my foot down on my own throat.
You can just
and
deviate
saying,
it back on track.
Well, no. I'm saying whenever someone's the host, I will not interfere whatsoever, but I may trash the episode.
Well, you are the host, you run the game, you make the rules, you introduce the game. But as far as like, say it's me and Audit, to the person that gets to pick who won that round is the guest.
Well, no, whoever is the host.
You still host and run all the games.
That is not true. You're not getting the point of this podcast. Whoever.
No, this is my idea. This isn't a thing you're doing. This is something I'm recommending, just as we invite new people in, a way to make them feel incorporated and that kind of shit.
I do not want that whatsoever. Whoever's the host, I want you to watch Distractable. I want you to listen to that, because that's what I'm trying to.
I have, and I do like it.
That's what I'm trying to do, basically, because I really enjoy the rotating
just throw it
host.
out there. If you don't like it, you can throw it back.
That's true. And I really like the rotating host idea.
Every episode thing. This would just be whenever you invited a new person into the podcast. Just their first time in the podcast, they would only have limited ability to speak and be a part of it.
Well, if it's their first time in the podcast,
our vibe, we can kind of fill out their vibe. Yeah, this is only on the podcast.
Well, if it's the first time on the podcast, they wouldn't be a host in the first place.
No, they wouldn't be a host. The host would run the game. The two competitors would play the game, and that person, the guest, would stay muted. But after the game, that round was over, we would call upon the guest to pick the winner.
I'm going to keep doing what I was doing.
The person picking the game isn't biased. Now, the person picking the game isn't biased. The two people that are playing the game are equally playing against somebody that they don't know. It's like Cards Against Humanity when you don't know who the other people are.
That deviates away from the host having ultimate god power.
Understood. Like I said, just throw it out there. If you don't like it, you can throw it back.
Before we go back into the game, Audit, do you have
ideas? This was an idea that I had.
That's true. Audit, do you have anything to say before we go back into the game? For blow up dolls?
For blow up dolls?
Well, no, I'm not saying about blow up dolls. I'm not saying about blow up dolls. I'm saying, do you have any comments before we go back into the game?
No.
Okay.
Hey, write that down. Make sure that whoever our court stenographer is has that quote unquote capital N-O exclamation point.
Oh wait, let me
That's how
keep
we
track
put it.
of let me keep track of points. Hold on. Gandhi audit.
Oh, by the way, so I
Done.
tried to order delivery from Walmart today, and my card gave a fraud alert. And so Walmart, I didn't know that I got the email from Wells Fargo. So like I had typed it in more than once and tried to get the order sent. And once I finally realized I have a fraud alert, I clear it and it says from Wells Fargo, it goes, your card is activated. Do it. Try it again. And then it was period and then capital NOW exclamation point.
No.
Do it now.
All right.
Like, did
So
my bank just threaten me?
we're gonna get back into the game. And Gandhi,
Yes, sir.
do you remember the conversation we had about
$12.
do you remember the conversation we had about me muting you and you watching for the unmute whenever it's your turn to basically talk? I'm gonna edit this out, by the way, so I'm gonna start implementing that just so we can stay on track a little bit. Nothing against you.
Well, when we're doing casual conversation, yeah, I'm not concerned about it. But when we're playing the game, I watch for the green light.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to start the next round, and pro versus con. Audit, what are you again, con or pro?
I'm pro.
You're pro. Okay, so the topic is blow up dolls. Gandhi, you are con, and
I'm
we're going.
and I go second.
Yes, and we're going to start with Audit because Gandhi started last time. Audit, you have 3 minutes. You don't have to go the full 3 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, and go.
So here's the thing about blow up dolls. They make a really good companion. They do not talk back. They do not. They literally just sit there waiting for you to come back. And yeah, it's like the perfect companion for you. So blow up dolls, yes. That's it.
Okay. That was short and sweet. And blow up dolls, yes. That is the that was your ending statement.
That is
Gandhi,
my and yes.
Gandhi, your rebuttal.
I have so many reasons I would like to agree with you, but they are different reasons as the one you gave. Because if a blow up dog was the best companion, you could just get a dog. That motherfucker will lick peanut butter off my balls.
Uh,
Delayed for you to cut it out if you need to. Also, the biggest issue that you have with a blow up doll is the fact that you have to keep reinflating it, which, yes, is easier than whatever struggles you might have with your girlfriend, but it's not any longer than a conversation takes. And I'm sorry, that's a different kind of soft. You could argue that a blow up doll is useful for being able to take the carpool lane. But and again, at the same time, when they come ask for her license, she's going to plead the fifth and you're going to go to jail. I've watched the videos. And if you decide that a blow up companion is your best friend, but you also decide a dog is your best friend, your blow up companion, your dog are going to have a problem one day that's going to end up with the death of one of them. And you're always going to choose the dog. So why didn't you just get the dog in the first place? And I concede my point.
Okay, so Audit said blow up dolls, yes, and that was mainly his point. Gandhi, you basically said why get a blow up doll when you can get a dog? And I don't agree with some of the points. You were more compelling.
I said it can, not that it does.
You were more compelling.
I know that they love peanut butter, and I know they don't care where peanut butter drop peanut butter on the fucking floor, and they still eat it up. And I promise my balls have been in dirtier places than the floor, and I can still convince them of it.
You were more convincing than Audit, so I'm gonna give you the point. Congratulations.
I did have to defend it.
No, I just found it funny that both me and Tim was just going.
Honestly, just on the pro side, I went full in with you can use bullet dolls to get into the HVAC lane.
So I'm actually really excited, and Audit, I know that this is gonna make you feel a certain way about it, so I'm sorry, but I'm really excited for Gandhi to win. I'm going to be fair. I'm not going to sway it at all, but I'm excited to see what kind of game he comes up with. So I kind of want Gandhi to win, but I am going to stick to the game rules. I'm not going to at all be biased whatsoever. But if he does win, then I'm actually super excited. And also, you don't want to win, so I'm also super excited for you to win because that's funny.
Damn
He's
it.
not trying to help me out. He just likes to see the extents that I will go to take a W.
Okay, so I gotta think. What was the
And
next
it
topic?
saves you from having to suffer a thing.
Okay, I got the next topic. The next topic is going to the beach. I know.
And we're switching again.
Yep, you're switching order and
So I'm pro and I'm going
con.
first.
Yes. If you guys can take all the time you need, remember I can take out silence with AI. So whenever you're ready, Gandhi, go ahead.
I do like this rotate pro and con, but I do think we should switch up the who goes first or second.
I think it's fair because the
Because
second
that means
person
I
kind
get
of has.
2 out of 3 that I have to wait for a rebuttal, and I get 1 out of 3 that I get to give a rebuttal, which is always the stronger argument when you don't have anybody to go back against it.
You don't know how many there's going to be.
Well, right now there's only 3.
Yeah, but there's more.
And each of them are 2 rounds. Me speaking, and 2 of those 3 are me speaking, and then him rebuttaling against it.
Well,
So depending on what you pick, which this one's in beach, that's a very neutral.
very
But
neutral.
you're still me with fucking Hitler, dude.
That was kind of just to get the ball rolling, just to give you guys a good idea of like how this is gonna go. And
Well, the ball ran into a stalled train track, and I guess what was on that train?
so the beach, whenever you're ready.
The beach.
Going to the
all right,
beach.
So mine's pro. And I got so many cons, but all right, give me a sec. I've got to pick to how to switch some of these opinions that I have into a way that I could convince me.
That is the point of this game, and I really like that you realize that.
Okay, I think I'm ready. It's not that long, but I think I'm ready.
All right.
That's what he said.
I am ready to receive you.
That's what she said. So, anybody who didn't live in Florida has had some kind of vacation where, with their family, and by their family, I mean their divorced parents as well, where a trip was taken to a beach. And that was something different than you had. And I think that's something the beach really offers is something different. And all the things that you can have while on a beach, depending on where you're at in Florida, California, in the Gulf, and Galveston, where we can watch 4th of July parties go up and down in Tampa. I can watch the Sunday parties I've heard the for in St. Augustine, where they literally go out and fire off old ships, which is cool as hell. We can go up to Myrtle Beach and ride roller coasters. We can go down into the Gulf and watch tanker trucks and platforms come in, hosted by things that are taller than the hotels that are around them. There's so many things that the ocean provides, and the threshold between us and the ocean is that water line on the beach, that tide that comes in and out. It's used for surfing. It's used for, in very questionable cases, people that want to have sex on the beach, which I do not recommend. And it is always a chance for somebody with a 4-wheel drive to make another $10 pulling some dude with a Jeep that doesn't know what he's doing with too many ducks on the dash, how to get out of the dirt. The beach has everything for everybody, at least for a little while. Definitely not the place you want to stay, not the place you want to live, but it's a good place to visit. And that's why there's only so many of them. and I relinquish my time.
Okay, that was a lot of different good points. You went from beginning finances to passing time to the single largest offense between land and ocean. Uh,
Well, I would have went with the whole capitalism thing, but I didn't want to defend landlords.
well, okay, that's your choice. All right, and
I'll leave
audit.
that to audit.
Yeah. All right, and audit. You are up. What's your response to that?
Well, my personal thing with beaches is that they have a lot of sand, and sand can get everywhere, and you don't even know it as sometimes. Like it gets underneath your fingernails, it gets under your pants. You know, it's somehow in your fucking ear. There's just a lot of sand. I don't know why we have that much sand, but we need to like, if we were to make a beach, we need to make it where there's less sand and more water. Other than that, yeah, I've got nothing else.
God, okay. So, Gandhi, you win. Audit, I think this is one of Audit's times where this is not one of his strong suits, I think, which is professional debating. And I always root for the underdog. So, Audit, I'm switching over to your camp, and I really hope that you win, because I know you can do it.
Wait, what?
I said, I don't think that debating is one of your strong suits. It's actually not one of mine either. But that means that I think that I'm now rooting for you because I always root for the underdog.
Yeah, yeah, obviously.
Yes.
Do I still get the point though?
Yes, you still get. Oh, I accidentally put it under audit. Oops, 1 second. Let me switch that.
No. I don't want that point. I actually love the beach, and I couldn't come up with anything.
I moved away from Florida because of I'd rather go to the mountains than go to the beach any day.
Well, dude, think about it. All the time that we lived in Florida, we went to the springs more than we went to the beaches.
Yeah, the beach is honestly terrible.
Or we went tubing down the rivers.
Yeah, I would rather go many other places than the beach. I'm okay with going to the beach every now and then. Like the last time I visited Florida, we went to the beach, like me and my girlfriend. We just walked around, and it's like nice, and it's pretty, and that's about it. Like we went it was like December. That's the best time to go to the beach because it's not balls hot, you know. And we walked out to like the sand dunes and stuff
The
up to our
beaches
knees.
as far as you're going, because the water's definitely not something you want to touch.
Well, we walked out to where it was like ankle
Depending
deep.
on where you're at, I guess.
Yeah, we were at Destin, so we walked out. We were able to walk out onto a sandbar. So we went pretty far out, but we were still only ankle deep. But
Yeah,
on the
that's not
sides,
somewhere you want to drop your balls in.
yeah, no. Okay,
Shrivel
so
up like a pod.
we're gonna do.
And I'll just leave this as the last argument. Me and you took a cruise ship through the Bahamas. Name one time we went to a beach.
That is true.
Like that.
Yep. All right, so Gandhi, are you gonna be Khan this time? Yes. All right, so this one might be a little targeted. And
I kind of wondering why you asked me that first question first before you brought up that statement. But yes, I will do my best.
Owning a dog. That's going to be the next
I don't have
topic.
to be targeted. I can cast a net across the ocean for this.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
all right.
fuck. You got me on being kind, though.
Yes. Audit.
Son
You
of a
are
bitch.
first. You are first. Take all the
No,
time
I'm
you need.
second.
No, I said audit, you are first. And you said, no, I'm second. I'm like, yes, that's what I said. So audit, you are first. Whenever you're ready, go for it. Convince me why it's a good idea to own a dog.
So the reason why it's a good idea to own a dog. Oh, I am ready.
Okay.
So the reason why owning a dog is the best option would be because owning a dog is like, as everyone would say, it's like having a best friend, and they really do not care what you eat, what you like what you look like or anything like that. They like have one goal, and that's just to have fun. And that's just like someone that you have to be around 24/7. It has helped a lot of people coping through a lot of things, and owning a dog is like, yeah, it's so cool. The chemistry as well. Like even just taking it out for a walk, you're also finding a part of yourself and all that. So yeah, own a dog. That's it.
That was heartwarming and moving, and I would be very impressed if Gandhi beat you. All right, Gandhi.
You'll be what?
I said I'd be
I
very
straight up
impressed.
peed a little.
I said I'd be very impressed if Gandhi beat
And
you.
I'm currently petting my dogs. Like, they're so sweet.
All right, Gandhi, tell me why it's a really bad idea to own a dog.
You gotta give me a second so I can start too.
Go for it. Take as long as you need.
I gotta finish petting Ohana. I mean, I'm about to bitch and whine about like just shut her into the ground. This almost 13-year-old pit bull that's my service animal. And she's about with her big floppy ears about me, like hear me ruin everything about her.
I have a lot of cons about owning a dog. I love owning a dog, but I have
I've
a
got
lot
an
of cons.
Aussie that's right here next to me. He's attentive as fuck. Like he's everything Ohana was when she was growing up as like a young pup. I mean, she's still a perma puppy, but she ain't the perma puppy she used to be. And this 78-pound fuck face, this muppet, this goober, who thinks he's a lap dog,
I can hear
is
him
just
getting into the
destroying me
zone.
all over again. So I've got to, while I'm looking at my dogs, dig my way out of the mentality that Audit had. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
So to own a dog in the first place is really just a compilation of the two of you walking around while staring at each other while you poop. And it's kind of a one-sided relationship because you're the only one that has to pick it up in the bag, and you know that bag slips a lot, and your finger gets stuck in it, and then you have to go wash your hands, but the smell doesn't come off. And God knows if there's a wet one. If you own carpet, it's even worse. And that doesn't necessarily disagree with having a dog, because I mean, those are things you deal with when you have a dog. But they're troublesome and they're things you didn't have to deal with before, especially if you're somebody that owns a foster dog. Just somebody that you temporarily take care of so they can find a home and hope somebody else will deal with their bullshit later. The second biggest problem you're going to have to run into is the fact that when you get a dog and it's going to be your dog, you have to train that dog. Do you know how good you are at training dogs? Have you ever seen other dogs behave better than your dog? Kind of makes sense why you ain't that goddamn good, right? So you go through YouTube videos and you go through all these extra episodes of trainers, or like I don't know, Silver Musquez or whatever his name was, where he teaches you how to make a chihuahua not bite you, but yet you've got a 75-pound pit bull, and all it wants to do is tackle you, but you want it to be a protector. You're misunderstanding your dog, which again resets you back to the stupid marker. You're going to start over. Now, third is going to be the hardest part, where you get into having a dog, whether it be a foster, whether it be your dog, and you have to start taking care of that dog to the point where it's costing you money. Now you're choosing whether you eat breakfast in the morning or whether you feed your dog. And as somebody that's happened to, yes, it happens to a lot of people. And you see homeless people feeding their dogs before they eat. It's just like having kids. It's not a burden because of who they are, but it is a burden because of what it costs. And if something happens to you, something happens to them. And it's inevitable at that point. The worst part, and this is number 4, is that if you have your dog, like I do my pit bull, my service animal, my Australian Shepherd, who's just turned 2 years old and is going to be her replacement, I am ever watching for every day that I spend 12 years with this dog, and I'm going to have to watch it pass away. I'm going to have to choose that whether her pain or whether she needs to be put down is the better decision. And when I make that decision, I'm going to have to live with it and hope I can look at another puppy and assume that I'm not going to have to do that again, knowing I will. So, yeah, having a dog is great, but it's the most decimating heartbreak you're ever going to have in your entire life, aside from amputating your own limb or either shooting your nephew in the face with a rubber bullet.
Weirdly specific.
He threatened me once. Now, you're going to go through the greatest thing that you've ever experienced and lose the greatest thing you've ever experienced in the shortest amount of time that you will ever get and lose anything, unless you're just an asshole boyfriend. So for that reason, I do agree with him. But I think there's a strong argument for people that are not ready, people that are not mentally capable, people that are in a place where they aren't prepared for that kind of loss again, like whether they've lost a parent or a sibling or a friend or whatever. I mean, all the people that I've lost over the past couple of years, the only thing that held me on was Ohana. If Ohana had passed away, I'd have lost it all. And you run that risk that something that doesn't live that long, that loves you that much, that you love that much too,
You have 10 seconds.
could be gone. And you're going to have to say goodbye for the last time. And I concede my time.
Okay, with 5 seconds to spare. So, damn, dude. Now I want to get rid of my dogs. Gandhi.
Really? In what way?
No.
Which one of the 4 was it?
Well, damn,
Was it the
dude.
poop one?
That
I
was
think it was the
depressing as
poop
hell.
one.
No, it was that them. You're watching. You have to watch them die like that. That drove it home. I was like, God damn. Yep.
Yeah.
Not worth it.
You didn't ask me to be fair. You asked me to drive a point home.
Yep. All right. So I'm gonna end the game there. Now I will give Audit one chance for bonus points.
Fair?
Audit, you can gain 3 points if you can convince me of any of the points that you lost. So you have one more chance.
I gave 4 different reasons on why this was bad.
So not just
I'll
the
allow him
dog,
to pick any 4.
but blow up dolls, beach, or dog.
Oh.
If you can convince me.
You're going to give him of all 4 arguments?
Yep.
You should only give him the arguments that he had to be first on.
I don't think
because I got the rebuttal
I don't think you understand
after both of his other 2
the
arguments.
definition of arbitrary.
Yeah, no, fuck you. I get it. That's fine. I was just trying to make it fair for him.
Audit, you can win it all if you would like to take up a stand, or you can choose to pass.
I'm choosing the pass. I don't think I can beat the dogs one. I don't want to go through like. I agree with Gandhi.
You definitely don't want to attach Hitler.
No.
Well, he won Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you still don't want to bring that back up again.
Nope, I don't want to bring that back up.
Okay. By the way, Gandhi is outward.
And Bulldogs, not much better.
So what did you guys think of the game? Was it enjoyable, or was it not one of your favorites?
Audit, would you like to go first?
Yes. We found out a lot about each other. We found out that I am bad when it comes to pros and cons, and I just see everything through. I just see everything the way it is.
I appreciate your effort, but I think that there's some eloquence that can be put on that. I think you see the way things are experienced. the way you experience it. You said that you didn't understand like the pros of beaches, even though you're surrounded by them. But that's a normal part of your daily life. So why would it be something different to you that you isolate? They go, oh, this is amazing.
Well,
No, beaches are everywhere for you.
Well, we lived in
If
Florida.
I lived in Virginia or if I lived in Wisconsin and I went to a beach, yeah, it'd be amazing for me. But
Well,
that's not amazing for you. So that's kind of that's unfair.
I think all three
I
of
think
us.
you did a beautiful job describing beaches. And I think it's the way that you see them when you're on those beaches.
Well, I did. The point of this game was to make you argue a point that you did not think. So basically,
Yeah,
make
and
you.
at this point, we're agreeing because the game is over, so we can finally be friendly.
Yeah. So basically, make a point like for the pro Hitler. Make a point that obviously you don't agree with, but I wanted to see who could argue the best. I wanted to see
you don't
who.
want to do it your first time on the stream, either.
I wanted to see who could argue the best for any point whatsoever. So I just came up with random ass topics, and I wanted to see who was the best arguer. And it wasn't about the topics
I tried
themselves.
to stay as abstract as I could because I didn't want to say anything on your stream that could also get your stream banned.
Well, no, I don't worry about that. Like I said, I want you to be.
Definitely nowhere in that is like I support Hitler comments.
I can edit
Hitler,
out,
but Hitler.
I can edit out anything. So I want you guys to be uncensored. I want you guys to be yourselves, authentic, and I'll decide, what kind of level of R rated this podcast is.
We're also going to have a limited attraction to just the general population, the age groups that listen to us if we pick something that divisive. So, I mean, obviously that's not what we're ever going to do again. You just wanted to test the waters.
I actually disagree. Polarizing topics is actually one of the ways to go viral.
Polarizing and negating are two different things.
That's true. Well,
like
they can be similar.
Would be, or you Republican or Democrat. That could be, at least in the most above a sixth grade reading level, conversations would be a polarizing topic. Were you pro or anti-Nazi? That's a negative or a negating topic.
Wouldn't it also be polarizing though?
On the wrong side or not on the wrong side.
Isn't that
so
also
it's one
polarizing?
thing to have a conversation, but another thing to have an argument.
Wouldn't that be polarizing?
Maybe that's the best way I could put it.
Wouldn't that be polarizing and negating? Because
which one?
Polarizing is when there's two polar opposite stances, and pro-Nazi and anti-Nazi is polarizing, but it's also negating. Does that make sense?
You could argue depending on which groups you're talking about.
I'm not gonna lie. I wish I was one of the players in my game today, and Audit was the host.
It's one thing to have an argument over how we interpret things versus an argument over whether something is actually right or wrong when all of us agree it's right or wrong.
By the way, Audit, have you ever heard
being a Nazi? Bad.
Yes. Audit, have you ever heard of the game?
That's out of there. But to ask whether, I don't know, to ask somebody how they feel about immigration laws, that's not a directed question. That's not asking, do you agree or do you disagree with immigration laws? What do you feel about agreement or immigration laws? And then allow that conversation to take over itself.
Okay. Audit, have you ever heard of the game Outward?
No.
It is fucking amazing. It's so part of this podcast I actually do want to talk about games. Just because we're all streamers or ex-streamers and we all play video games. Everybody that's going to be on this podcast plays video games pretty heavily. And I want to have a segment of the podcast be about video games and like talk about things that we like to talk about and shit like that. Outward is it's not like an FPS. It's not what's the word? It's not the best graphics in the world. You know what I mean? But it is phenomenal. And it used to be $6. I remember losing my fucking shit over this game because I was like, this is $6 because it is so like immersive. It is complex. There's weather, there's hot and cold. You die so easily in this game, and you're basically traversing over a vast like expansion of like world, and you're going to different, like you're going to the desert, you're going to like swamps, you're going to, and there's like different creatures and all that jazz, and you're building a custom character that honestly the replayability is amazing. And Gandhi, is Outward more than 2 player?
No, the original Outward is only 2 player. The sequel that they've been announcing, the one that has the trailers out, is talking up to 4 player team matchmaking. And even they would have the option
Ooh.
that if you were on the same server, you could match up with other people. Only 4 people could be on a
Ooh.
team, but there's up to 80 people on a server.
Ooh.
So
Audit, would
there could
you?
be, they haven't said anything about whether there's PvP or not. So, I mean, it could be a thing where it's kind of like DayZ, where they come and hunt you and kick your ass and take your shit.
Right.
Because you remember permanent drops were a thing in that game.
Yes. Audit, would you be interested in playing
So,
Outward with us?
Yeah.
Cool.
as
Check it
far as
out.
I
See if you
know-
like it.
Is it on PlayStation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Sweet.
I
I'll have a
don't know
look right now.
if PlayStation is cross-play with anything other than PlayStation.
Yeah, I think it's only on
I
PlayStation if it's on
don't think it
PlayStation.
is.
Yeah, I don't think
I
it's
think
crossplay.
Xbox and Microsoft are crossplay because they're both on Game Pass. So you can have Steam or Xbox Game Pass and play on PC and also play with somebody on Xbox.
If I
But I don't know if
counted
PlayStation does that.
if I counted all of the FromSoft games as like one game, like Elden Ring, all the Dark Souls, like that's one game. I would say that Outward is my second favorite game, just period, in the world.
So all of them first, and that one just like, I never thought of you as well, I don't know why I never did, because it makes perfect sense now that I almost said it out loud. You're a fucking masochist.
Wait, which one is it?
You just like punishment. And
Well-
you were ironically really weird, like weirdly good at those games.
Audit, what was your question?
Oh wait, no. Sorry, I was looking at the add-ons. Never mind. I found it.
Oh, okay.
$69.
You don't.
It's $69 right now?
That's for all the add-ons, right?
Oh shit.
That's
think-
the game
yeah.
and the add-ons,
I
correct?
had to buy it for a third
Yeah.
time, and I don't
You
understand
need
why.
the add-ons.
Well, the DLC is pretty cool. Like that's the trader guild that we went into.
Yeah. But again, unless he's something that he knows he wants to play, no reason to spend more money on it than he's going to play the game and figure out if he likes it.
I'm not gonna lie, I would say go for it, just because you're gonna like it. I know you Audit, and I guarantee you're gonna like it.
I'm having a look at the what's it called, the pictures right now, and I'm seeing a lot of customize your own character kind of vibe.
Yeah, don't
And-
waste your money on the extras, like the
Oh yeah, no, don't worry about the fucking
the
skins.
aesthetics. Yeah, the skins.
Yeah,
Don't worry about
just to
those.
get the
Fuck those.
DLCs of
There's
like
so
the
much to
world
unlock
expansion.
in the game. You don't need that.
Yeah. So with
it's-
that, oh, go ahead on it.
So it's kind of like Warframe, but except harder.
Okay, so Warframe is
No,
incredibly
I wouldn't
easy.
even put it.
Uh,
It is.
Warframe is incredibly easy, and it's basically a walkthrough where you're a god and you're just smushing people and like one hit killing until you get to a certain point, and then it becomes a little harder, but it's still generally easy. Outward is more strategic, involved. There's a magnificent story. It's not I know that Warframe has a story, but honestly I just kind of glaze over because it shows you exactly where to go. Because I don't even listen to the quests, to be honest, or the people talking. I just wait for the pin to show up on the map, and I go over there and kill whoever I need to, because it shows me exactly what to do. In Outward, you have to fucking pay attention, because you may soft lock yourself out of the game because you don't know what to do because they told you and you weren't paying attention, and it happened to me.
Hey, Tim, can I use an example?
Yeah.
So there was this one dungeon. When you leave out of the first city, there's this big mountain that you can go into. And that mountain is incredibly hard. It's the closest place to your first city. So you would think it was the place you need to go. It's not. It's fucking not. We ended up rolling out until we found our first town. And our first town, we ended up setting up this whole merchants guild on how we were going to murder the other people that ran the merchants guild so that we could take it over. Which led us to the desert, which we were not prepared for.
And we weren't supposed to go there.
Because we had no equipment that could keep us alive in the desert.
That was
We
way
had
too
all like
overleveled.
cold equipment and nothing that would roll down our heat.
And the sun killed us constantly.
It took us like a week before we figured that shit out. And all we did was just trace the side of the map until we got back to the other side, the city that's on the other side of the map.
Hmm.
And then we reestablished our guild, did some missions, and built our trade route.
So I've been
That
actually
was just an adventure of us fucking up and figuring out, like, nah, dude, we ain't gonna die yet. We're definitely gonna take these motherfuckers over.
So I've been trying to play Outward with you for like fucking 2 weeks ever since I bought it for the third fucking time. Would you want to play Outward tonight?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's do it. All right, hey everybody, thank you for watching the Timbo Show or listening. We are on Twitch, YouTube. My name is It's Timbo Flex. This is Audit, ODDIT_T. The one dying over there in a corner is a Hungry Gandhi with underscores instead of spaces. And thank you for watching. We have merch. You can go to our Discord or personaltrainerandcompany.com, and you click the little shopping cart on the top right. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.